morning, everyone. Today is September 25th, and the time is 10 a.m. Welcome to the Springfield Animal Control hearing. We'll begin by doing a roll call of the board members. The President Edwards, President Board Member Laundry, President Peter Nelson, Board Jones absent. There are, well, it's listed four, but there are three items left on the agenda today. Four is pushed to the next hearing page. We have Attorney Danielle down in Pitney for apprenticeship checks today. Can everyone here raise their hand that will be testified? Do we declare and affirm that the evidence that you are about to give is the truth and the whole truth?
Yes.
You are allowed 10 minutes. Those 10 minutes have to be shared with you and the board that's accompany you, and you have 5 minutes to read that. Yes. Item number one is the July 31st minutes. On the motion, Councilor Edwards,
Yes.
Councilor Florence,
Yes.
Word Laundry, yes, absent Board Chance, minutes approved. The second item on the agenda today is the nuisance dog and dangerous dog hearing for 3 dogs named Link, Ragnar, and Spencer at 21 Bell Street, owned by Israel Toledo, and it was requested by Kendra and Boyson.
Evidence that everybody, I just I don't need to show you that or but on July 18th, we were walking our dogs on leashes, and they were attacked by all three, which you saw video of, and saw the aftermath, which was brutal. We have spent $4,500 so far, $3,500 at the vet and $1,000 in rehabilitation. And we now we have an appointment next week for another vet appointment, because they think that the dog also has appreciated care. Megan is going to need additional surgery, which will be between $6,000 and $8,000. But more so, I'm a lifelong dog owner. I understand reactive dogs, and definitely, like, if a dog is reactive, like, and owners are responsible, I'm super accommodating for that. And we own a dog. We put extra behavior, not the one that got attacked, the other one, that we put a lot into making sure that she's not in a situation like this. And so I can understand if the dog reacted to our dog, but that's not what happened. These dogs came to our dogs. They were loose. They were left loose in their backyard, where they were left out in their backyard while the owners were at home. The fence was propped up with a tire. And then when they attacked, I couldn't get it to stop. And my dog submitted, laid on her back, and the dogs just kept going in. And my dog has a lot of loose skin and a huge scrum. And I'm convinced that had she not had that those neck wounds would have probably killed her. And if the husband had not gotten back quickly, the whole thing was like 5 minutes from start to finish. And he ran the other dog home so that we didn't get another dog in the mix. And he knocked him physically. You couldn't really see this on the video. He physically, like, grabbed that dog and pulled it off of her, and then stuck with it. And had he not done that, I'm convinced the dog would kill her. The reason I filed the hearing is because there's so many other dogs in our neighborhood that are probably more vulnerable. There's like little dogs. There's dogs with all that level of scrap on their neck. and there's kids that walk dogs in their neighborhood, and it just feels super dangerous. The reason I filed, so the other two dogs totally tapped also. The black one, I think, I don't know which name, but the black one, the one that's the main attacker is the one that was brown with some white on it. The black one was in and out, and I think probably did the additional wounds other than the major ones. We can't tell, the video footage isn't clear. But as soon as the main alpha dog was pulled off, those dogs stopped. And like even when our neighbor walked our dog home to our house, they weren't proceeding to attack. They like followed, but they didn't proceed to attack. So that's why I'm like filing for that to be divided nuisance, not as dangerous. Might be a little lenient on the black one, but I want safety, not. And I don't know what else there really is to say. I gave you all the time, I gave the evidence, you've seen the videos, which are horrendous. I will say that, like, as a lifelong dog person, I've never been afraid of dogs, and I am totally like dealing with my own trauma. Also, trying to, I'm having a lot of trouble getting scared when I see dogs. So I'm taking care of myself too with that, but that's all.
Thank you. Israel Polito?
Again, I'm sorry, I apologize. So start. Father-in-law who lives with me, not living besides me. There's no excuse why the dogs got out. They're usually locked in there. So, the reason they got out, I wasn't there. I wasn't there. My father-in-law let them out. Because there was no excuse for them getting out. What happened? Normally they don't do that. This is the first time they've done that. So like I keep the fish, it's still not justified. It's not okay. Like if she's going through. I received a call 2 days ago. She reached out to a third party, reached out to me about covering the bills. And I said I had a problem doing so. To covering all the bills. So I could add that. My dog would pass away before them. I my dog jaw. Basically, I'm last jaw. I got moved off by the dog, and I had no. So I get it. I understand. I don't know why I have kids with special needs and cerebral. They play with my dogs all day. I have kids around the dogs all day, every day. Like they've gotten out before this never happened. So I can't be excused for on that. Like I really have nothing to present to me. I spoke to Thomas J. O'Connor twice. Nobody wanted to present video to me. Nobody gave me any additional information other than that. This hearing would possibly happen. Other than that, nobody, outside of the call that I got 2 days ago, I really heard nothing about said incident since then. The dogs haven't been out since. The gate was broken. I'm dealing with problem issues of a whole different issue. He's falling into drugs and all that, so he uses that door to like sneak in and out of my house. And then apparently that's why the gate is actually open. But as I hear, like I'm dealing with stepping into a substance abuse place, and we can go and actually get in my house and we don't want to deal with that, but that's the essentially that's I guess what happened. And there was irresponsible and whatever. You guys being fit, I got see call whatever society superstar that be your dog and you have to put that's very unfair that here. But yeah. See, so guys, so I see that know that.
Thank you. Um.
This is the first instance that these dogs
wherever reported loose. We do have history with the dogs for two other incidents. One was unrelated to any poor behavior on the dog's part. And the other was a neighboring dog dug and got its head into their fence. And there was some kind of injury, there was a bite or a scratch or a scrape from the fence. Here, so out of caution, all the dogs at that time were quarantined just to be. Whenever rabies is a potential concern, we are always gonna exercise caution. No one witnessed that one, so all we know is that one of the dogs put its head under the fence, and then there was some kind of injury occurring. This was the only time that these dogs have been loose. They were previously vaccinated, when they were at the shelter through fault of their own. Those have been expired. I don't know if they have been updated. As they also remain unlicensed for this year, so I don't, if they take the boosters. Current rabies vaccine information would be entered at the time of licensing, but since they're not licensed, it's not in the computer. And then I do have pictures of the were provided to the committee that had 3 dogs in question. Picture provided photos of her dog.
Which dog was it that actually did the fight?
According to the report, it was Sampson. And then, we're mentioning the black dog, I believe the black dog is Ragnar. I'm just not sure based on my pictures which. Is it Sampson? Okay.
That's the problem.
Well, there's 2 brown ones, that's why I wasn't sure, but I thought that this was Sampson.
Which one is the one who being asked to be?
This is the one they're deeming for SK to deem dangerous. The solid brown or the more brown one would be nuisance, and then this one is up for debate as to whether the.
And which one, the black one is, which name is that?
Hang They were at jail, not through any bad behavior on their part. Circumstance at that point.
The dog. Yeah. What's
Is to deem Sampson as dangerous and Lincoln as Ragnar as nuisance
yes,
on the motion.
second,
Edwards,
yes,
or never long.
yes,
No, yes. And for Johns. Motion. Sampson, or
and she got him with
injured? No, yeah.
Yeah.
the right aspect in the next one.
One of my recommendations for all 3 dogs that might help behaviorally would be to have all 3 neutered, as a
our records, they appear to all be intact,
All males.
all male. So that does sometimes have, obviously help with any kind of aggression. So with, especially with her dog being female, it could have just been something that got out of hand because.
Well, let me discuss this first thing. So, obviously, two Miltons would be take on the nation. I just think it's that we have.
Yeah. My recommendations are always gonna be for whatever gets the dog home. Gets the dog stay home, obviously euthanasia is something that we could. We could order.
I mean, wouldn't be
But
necessary
it's-
to have other, it's not.
Correct. Yeah.
That was the reason I went right to that, but we take it. Okay. Shot.
Dog licenses for all three, the dangerous license for Samson would be $100.
Possible. Leash, I mean, leash, it's already a lot of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Operating, so you're saying that your fence, like the gate was open and that's.
I'll sneak up. Patient with, just like. And. Bags. And then so that. They're using that against them, right, to the end, also we can get force, so they're just battle that for. So.
Ideally, a secure enclosure would be great, but if the father-in-law's the plan.
Our other enclosure, another question enclosure that's was. My tenant side of that specifically.
Okay.
So essentially, he's pretty.
He already has, he doesn't have a feeling that he has a group, but I don't also know that any of these dogs are athletic enough to jump those. Camera. Cause the other thing I would have recommended would have been to lock that gate, physical lock on it so that it cannot be opened. Without either a key or the pass code or whatever, however you choose to do that. I would put beware of dogs. Try to get $100,000 liability insurance, that is extremely difficult to. So, I'm gonna be or if you guys think that's secure, by definition, secure enclosure on top of the measures was already taken, were necessary, but dangerous stuff. That would be, it can all be side of
So I'll say.
side of the yeah, so a secure enclosure is different than just a panel that he has built. It's by definition, it is a defined,
Are you comfortable with what he's described?
based on what he described, I mean. I don't, the dogs haven't been, this is literally the only time the dog ever got loose, so I can, I'm inclined to. Think that it was
Okay.
that here, the big. Yeah, so I would like to come, we'll obviously come and see, we may have recommendations. When we're out there to say like this is the weak point, or do this instead of that.
I guess I'd be comfortable with that in the sense that, the main concern, what he can control is where he places the dog, whether it's out in the yard, it's possible, whether it's leash, those things he can control. He's not going to be able to control the behavior of that.
Right, which is why I thought.
Also, thing is the safety of the residents in the neighborhood. We have to put conditions in place, recognizing that we can't solve that part of this problems, but our concern and interest has to be directed to the space. So my recommendation would be that if you deem this closure to be well enough, that he has a clear understanding of our expectation. That's what it needs to be. Anytime it's how issues you are, even in the yard.
Yeah.
It's all back there.
Not secure enclosure.
Very close to that dog. Yeah, at least dogs that are property, they can't do this farm other been strategy to jump on some meeting, that meeting said that be part of that insurance policies are the law.
Yes.
But I think that's something we should impose. And I don't think that obviously the victim of the situation has all rights they have, right? So damages get paid and work out, but and of course, to address those concerns, that's not about you. But I didn't want to make sure the nation buffer because of the severity. It's in the suggested that they got out and it's happening. The risk of somebody dying, dog dying, was dying person, it's the dog dying, spirit. These guys can really get natural burden. We can't mitigate that. This is not part of that. But the involvement of the insurance policy of it, that's not for us to figure out. But the explanation of it, see it's being the named as policy holder, the beneficiary.
The city is named. I think it's, so I just don't know the term, but basically the city is listed as co-owner or whatever, co-policy holder. So then we're notified if like you have the policy for a day and then they can't, you choose to cancel it. So basically the city is named as
That part of it, but I should.
the legalese there, I don't know, but basically the city's on the policy so that it, you know, like. I know that you love your dog dearly. If they violate this, if they're found loose after this, they may be ordered impounded and euthanized. So I just put that out there so that you know why we're trying to make it so that they can't escape it after that. They're already deemed dangerous and a nuisance, so the next steps might be less amenable to pet ownership.
Outside of people are expected of the quote this already been interacted. Builders and license. And lock gate.
The dog, the dog, right?
Yeah.
Is it all three dogs
Yes,
muzzle?
yes. All three dogs are involved in what supposedly the most aggressive, like dogs who act out. They try to how they talk to people. And I would have respectfully to shade over that conversation about the type availability.
Yeah.
Might be beneficial.
Yeah.
We usually use Baskerville, but they have other companies that do, they won't do it.
But either,
But yeah, we'll talk with him.
Because the thing is, you think somebody.
I'll put it.
They may not have, or
Yeah.
There are two types of muzzles. One is to prevent the dog from
Being able to open their mouth,
Okay. We will talk.
and the other is muzzle, they can run, they can't, they can drink, they can play, they just can't. Brush their teeth. Or, you know, some people use them for dogs that eat things that they shouldn't, so.
All we need is, we just, our only concern is public safety. Motion.
Second.
On the motion, the conditions. Councilor Edwards,
Yes.
Councilor Clemens,
Yes.
Ward Audrey. Middle, yes, and Ward John's absence, and just to run it over, if the conditions are for all three dogs be neutered, registered, muzzled, off property, PJO.
Yeah, muzzled one outside.
Muzzled and an off property.
Yes.
Right.
By law, they have to be based off property. That does. Also, that's a big condition.
Okay, lock gates. So where dogs side be posted. The $100,000 insurance and secure enclosure. As well as PGR.
No,
Yeah.
no, we're not doing
secure enclosure, that's like,
Okay,
They're gonna inspect.
yeah, we're just gonna inspect what we have.
okay, TJ visits.
A secure wall would be a cement base with the top on it, that's the thing, 10 feet tall. Oh, I don't know that.
Yeah, that's I am moving, I'm making sure that they don't put the term secure enclosure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, TJ visits.
Yeah, we'll check in and see what the fence looks like, and if we have,
Make
you know,
it.
recommendations to change things, we'll pass those along. But it sounds like literally the only way these dogs have ever had any incidents is either under a fence or through an open gate, so.
Before we move on, I just make sure we specify for each dog. Make sure we're setting the code, whether they're dangerous or nuisance, for which specific like terms, and then also citing. Make sure we cite it in the record. Specific that. You know, they can do something that's not pay that for.
Okay.
When you do the letters, you're gonna wanna have like,
Like the.
Sampson dangerous based on bite report, evidence from animal control and the.
And anything that should be the same for all three dogs, it's,
Except for.
Yeah, except for the physical, that's why.
On the condition of the same.
On the fence, all three dogs.
which you. Yes, that's right.
Yeah, the constitution has some reference to evidence for each one.
Okay.
Evidence.
So Judy is.
And testimony. And it was-
I think we give 6 months. Think the first time we met, it was.
Yeah, I had- you said it.
So, I'll say we moved her in 6 months.
Yeah,
Very awesome people.
he will have part time factory appointments for 3 years.
That should start.
Yeah.
The little girl there.
She gets
It's clear her mother. I mean, their father is Shelby. She like this. This is.
It says something. I want to talk about the muscle.
Okay, so, all right, well,
Yeah, it still has one of these.
Okay.
And all that, so we usually do that after that, but if he's not there.
okay,
You know,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. I'm supposed
Maybe not today, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's why actually I think explaining law about we can personal.
Yeah.
It's good. We're doing.
Whatever.
and see what that's going to be, right?
Yes.
If it's being the recommendation. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Ready for me?
Okay, item number 3 is a nuisance dog hearing for 2 dogs at 279 Garnet Street. Owned by David Benoit, and it was requested by Carol Gwinnett.
There's one thing I want to ask first, is when you asked for raise a right hand. David raised his left hand, didn't raise his right hand. Does that matter?
I don't think it has.
No.
Baby.
Okay. Okay, no, not yet, that's her.
You get what I'm saying, huh?
I can't hear her, so that's fine.
Okay, yeah, you can, no, you need to,
I'm good. I'll stay right here.
I'll talk loud enough.
Okay, yeah, he said he couldn't hear, so.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So he needs to be able to hear, he should probably. Oh, shame. Thank you. Yeah, be loud, please.
I lived in my home for 25 years. I had two dogs for quite a while. They both passed. And then last year I adopted Nyla from Jacob. She's a beautiful little girl and she's well behaved. David has had dogs for as long as I've lived there. And his dogs have always run free. In the past, there was a dog, Coco, and if the dogs came around, I could say, Coco, home, and Coco would go home and the other dogs would follow. She's not here anymore. I don't know where she is. I think she's still at his house. I saw her at the door one day, but she's not out with these dogs that are running wild now. And they come and they attack. And they don't. I was gardening, my dog was staked in the front yard because she likes to be near me. And I also heard her barking, I heard growling, and I looked and they were circling her. And when I went over, I told them to go home and they attacked me. They came and they were jumping and snapping at me. So I started yelling his name. When I started yelling his name, they breathed. I grabbed Nyla, I brought her in the house to make sure she was okay. And then I picked up my walking stick and I was walking toward his house. There was another man coming toward me, he looked very harassed, and I said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "You just got attacked." He said, "Yeah, two dogs. I kicked one of them in the head." I said, "I'm going to the house." So we went to the house. I told Dave what happened to me. The man told Dave what happened to him. The dogs weren't there. They still hadn't come home. That's when there was another that day, that there was a video from somebody else that day. I think that's because they came up from LaBelle. So you said there was an older woman. That wasn't me. I was in my yard. So they came up from LaBelle and then Dave put them in the house. And he said, "This is it, no more. I'm getting rid of them." That was on July 4th. I called you on Monday and I told you what had happened at my house. I didn't call on the holiday. On July 24th, I had been out for a walk with Nyla. As I was coming home, all of a sudden she's looking back and coming out of Pencastle Street with the two dogs. So I came running to my house, pulling my dog with me. By the time I was under the tree at my house, they were jumping at her again. I picked up from my neighbor's house a saw, and I had the saw in my hand, a rotary saw. And I was just swinging it, and they would stay away from me, but they kept going at her. So I dragged her to the front stairs. I got her in the front door, and then they came at me again, and I swung that, and when they did, then they went home. They had been, it was in August. I was going over to visit Thursday. I was going over to visit my neighbor and they came running up the street. I was halfway up the driveway. They were jumping at me, jumping at my dog. Jose stuck his hand out the door to give me his cane and Nyla ran in his house. When I turned around with the cane, they ran away. But at the same time, my neighbor was upstairs in her house and she happened to look out the window and saw the dogs attacking me in the driveway. So she dropped her laundry, ran down the stairs to get her broom. When she came down outside, they were already running away. Then Jose's daughter was working in Jose's yard. She has a very deep yard. It's the biggest yard, I think, in our neighborhood. And in the back, there's a fenced-in garden. There's a gate. Betsy's working in the gate. She had her dog with Nova with her. And they went through the whole yard into that enclosure. And they were attacking her and her dog. And she said, she was afraid. She was scared. I can't walk my dog anymore without taking a big stick with me because I'm afraid. when I go out to mow my lawn, make sure I have a stick at hand so that I can defend myself if they come running down the street again. This can't continue. Something has to be done and somebody has to take responsibility.
Yeah, definitely.
Somebody has to take responsibility because I mean, I had on the 28th, when I went in the house, I had a severe asthma attack. When I go into after this, when I go in the house, my dog will go into a crate and stay there for the day. This is creating trauma in my life. That's not fair. No,
Just pull up.
All of the one that said. One of them put it to life in order for that. I'm gonna drag it to that. Before that, they were my dogs, they're my kids' dogs. Now they. I'm just gonna clarify this straight out and go forward. I do have, they were getting. And clarify that into the back, you know, and say. I don't know all these other incidents, and all the other people and stuff, I just don't know, and this is all coming to the light right now. I'll do whatever I gotta do. For a little while. They never actually did that thing. And I don't know anybody. Thank you.
yeah, I would. I called animal control 3 times. I've seen her drive by going to his house. And you told me that you went to his house for the video. Are you the one that you're not the one I spoke to? Okay, I have the name in my notes. Officer. She told me about the video, about the man, and she assumed that I was the woman, and I said it wasn't me. I had walked earlier in the day. So I know that animal control went to his house for that instance. I know animal control has gone to his house for the 3 times I called them. I saw them drive by. So if he's saying if he's saying he doesn't know, he has been advised by animal control at least 4 times that I've been told. That I know I witnessed. I've made 3 calls. I witnessed. I looked at the public records and I saw what was said on the public records. So he has been notified more than 1 time.
It was, the part that was the same incident. Same day, it was July 4th. And, both came to place. One kid and a big sheep. No.
Actually, no, man.
Maybe it was another lady here. But that was all together again. They were 2 different things. I had a violation and I paid it. Thank you. And I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, basically all the evidence that we have, and that's one was already provided by. So yes, the dogs were reportedly loose on the 4th. The 24th. And the 28th of August. And then. They were a citation for unlicensed, unvaccinated for the 2 dogs we were confident
he had, was sent. In August, after we determined that the dogs were still, are, in July, the second time when we determined that the dogs were still being loose, still not vaccinated. So he did have a citation there. And then it looks like according to the notes provided. That the dog was potentially loose, but I don't have a call for September 9th. Which just means that his name is attached to the specific call, so it doesn't mean that the call didn't happen, just that. There's no owner assigned to the call.
Can I say something?
But
Okay, well, because Betsy knew that I had been, Betsy knew about what happened when I was in the father's driveway. So when it happened to her, she called me and said, I understand that you're gonna be going with this problem. She said, I'm gonna give you a letter. And she typed out the letter and gave it to me.
Yeah, I'm just saying,
That's-
she could have called, but if she called to her own address, then I wouldn't have that. You know,
so you have to, once again, she was given the board opportunity to speak, and so you have some option of that.
I don't think so.
So. The records of bites,
no records of actual bites, just the aggressive behavior. Barking, charging at people, that sort of stuff, and animals. But no recorded actual bites, also terriers. I had one for those.
On the July 4th report from Sandal.
Yeah.
It states that it appeared that they were able to get out of scaling and cleansing the storage bin. It's that been rectified.
Not that I know of. Not that I know of, but also
but
it's, like, I don't know if that's how they got out, that's just how she thought that they probably would have.
it took them off their job then without. So, get off, or just, get it off, try to get over it.
I mean, my Boston Terrier
Yeah.
could jump over a fence this tall, so if it's only like a, like a decorative type of fence and not like a 4 foot, 6 foot stockade, then yeah, definitely. They can also, if they're smaller,
Get on it.
get under, there's a lot of, there's a lot of ways that they could get out, but obviously having a object against a fence that then, it's like when it snows and we tell people, remember it snowed, your fence is shorter now. So stuff like that can obviously assist. But they could have also just gone straight over, my current dog can jump about yay high. So. They can, some dogs are very athletic.
So, anybody else that deal, like, my inclination is obviously these houses nuisance.
Yes.
I don't think the interest. That we want. The appropriate, legal base, they're attached to that, but then. So I'll make a motion to start nuisance mentally. Second.
You specified which box that there's others at the property as well.
This is, that we know of. That we know of, their names are Sapphire and Starla. And then you have Coco still, but she's not been involved in.
Okay, so this is specific, the designation is specific to these two.
There's a motion, they by, second by. On the motion, Chris Evans,
Yes.
Roy Laundrie,
Yes.
Neil. Yes. Mr. Clemens,
Yes.
absent was John. Motion passed.
recommendations as to conditions.
So when you're taking the dogs out, you don't. So they, what do they do when they need to go to the bathroom? Watch in the, like on the.
Back there, but they can jump over.
They can jump over your 6 foot.
Oh, yeah.
That's impressive.
But like you said,
Yeah.
anything stacked up,
Right.
I had to take down, wood piles, I took down, you know, I put up a lattice work, top it up. 6 foot stack,
Make it taller.
or
Yeah.
18 inches. Time to, you know, people, I do have the material and I have started. And I have 2 gate, they're both spring loaded right now. Yeah, and I get it out there, take it out the front door.
Right. What they're getting out is typically they're just getting out through the.
I think before it was all of this. Before me, the kids are adult kids.
Yeah.
They'd open the door, take the baby to the car, and the dog would go up and then he'd go. And then I took over and be out there and said it was
I think we pretty much we put the conditions in place. He has it.
Yeah, it was just kind of trying to get a feeling of like what they're.
He's not what this is.
Yeah.
But
yeah, whatever you want to do.
Maybe in December.
Oh, great. Here's a male dog. One of the terriers is a male. One of the terriers is a male.
What's the name?
she did one of the dogs that you have as a male. You haven't been distinguished if these were males or females. These
Yeah. It's, no, they're all beautiful.
You don't have power anymore,
Yeah,
and he's not a boy.
so they go behind. The,
So you have 4 female.
They had a male. They had literal puppies like 2 years ago, and they all pulled the dogs and all the puppies just run the neighborhood.
oh, it's the mother, I'm sorry, I didn't know how you was the flower, we had mail. So they did the thing, opened it,
but they thought they had a
6 puppies. Got 2 left over, and the kids wanted to eat more of one.
ours.
Where's the mother?
Is that
Mine.
so there is no male. Is that a total?
Yeah, how many dogs you have? 4 dogs. 3 Boston Terriers, a mother, 2 siblings. Right,
And then
and a total name, which is my shepherd, that's very passive.
no,
Right.
understood.
So first of all, you can only have 4 dogs in the city of Springfield and all 4 are spayed.
Okay.
So if you're gonna choose to keep all 4 dogs must be spayed.
Okay, all right. You'll give me some.
Yeah.
Okay, because I read a lot of it.
Yeah, so
Okay.
let's get all 4 dogs spayed,
Yeah. Nice. And they can all have shots.
like so.
They do. Some people.
You have trees like in the area, would you be able to set up tethers, like, you don't have like the ability to set up to go.
I think it's hard to make something like that.
I'm just trying to figure out, you know, how to manage the 2 that keep getting out while still allowing.
Well, right now, we're gonna walk in the backyard. They don't go out without, don't. You know,
How long are they typically out for?
Hmm?
How long would you say they're typically outside?
15, 20 minutes now.
There'll be some outside buildings.
So then I would probably,
I'll have a cigarette.
yeah, I would probably encourage getting like a tether system. Like one of the ones you screw into the ground.
I don't know.
Make sure that they're not going to tangle.
Okay.
They can only be out for 15 minutes at a time on one of those, but if that's all that, you know, like you don't put them out all day. Then that would be fine.
Sure.
So they should be on the tether when they're outdoors in the yard.
Okay.
And the other two don't wander.
No, our flag is the one. Can't see out the other.
These all with shot, day shots. Oh,
No, that's gonna be an additional for,
dogs need to be doing.
yeah, you don't have to. You don't have to spay all, but you can only have 3 if you don't spay them all. So it would have to be all 4 are spayed. Or you have to rehome 1.
Okay,
So are you planning on keeping all 4 dogs? You want,
right at the moment. Yeah, I think only.
okay, so then.
Because-
That's going to be one of the conditions.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, these were definitely, and
I mean, I-
so that you can keep all.
That's all.
We're. Yeah.
I'm telling you, start or the 2 that. If they're not getting out through the front door anymore, that's not a thing.
No, that was.
Okay.
For. Because we're very honest about it, we're.
Yeah, I would encourage it as an occurrence, using a baby gate system to keep them.
Yeah.
To be there to a door.
No,
I don't know if you heard me previously, but. If they are found in violation of this order. The stipulations could become stronger up to and including euthanasia. So it is very serious now that it's at this level. We wanted to make sure you understand that.
So the conditions of the floor agreement of TJO is for all 4 dogs to be spayed, licensed and vaccinated, and tether system when outside. Fire started. With them to the.
Yes. Condition that dog would be.
The evidence of testimony given, testimony from. It was.
If you remember the circuitous method of review before, like everyone had to check everyone's notes. Yeah.
It's a team now.
Yeah, it's a lot to take in while you're also doing the meeting. So,
Thank you.
And conditions, Councilor Edwards,
Yes.
Dr. Fleming,
Yes.
for Laundry,
Yes.
Camille, yes, and absent for John.
Multiple BJ letters, conditions. Higher our. Certain policies we have situations about. And obviously.
Good day, the time is now 10:44 AM. There are no more items on the agenda for this morning. One second.